recording, I think. Yeah. And we're recording here. And gosh, what else is there? That's it. We can go. All right, here we go, everybody.
Buckle in.
Put it in park or something.
Tuck it in and zip it up.
Yep.
Shake it off, tuck it in, zip it up, and let's do the show.
That's right. Not talking about your wiener. All right, here we go. It starts in 3, 2, 1.
See what I'm getting at?
No.
I never got to apologize for the comic book.
What comic book?
Did I not mention the comic book? Well, that's really key to the whole thing.
The diarrhea specialist.
The sensation of Europe, now made in America by Samsonite. This is the Morning Stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It is the morning stream for July 18th, 2019. I'm Scott. He's Brian. Good morning.
Hi, Scott. Hi. Hi.
Hello.
You think that sounded like you had more coffee than I did, but I didn't really have as much coffee as it sounds like I had.
You seem pretty up, though. You seem up.
I am. At 5:45 or 5:30, I woke up. I looked at my, pulled my watch off its little charging stand on my nightstand, put it on, looked at the temperature outside. It said 67 degrees. I got up, grabbed my bike shorts, a bike shirt, went out on a ride, realized that it may be 67 wherever my watch was tied to, but it was only 63 or 64 where I was at. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do a ride, but it's going to be a nice little short, quickie, chilly ride.
I'd love a little.
That's exactly what it was.
I'd like a nice lower temp right now. It's gotten hot as hell here.
It's going, yeah, I mean, 5:45 is when it was.
Yeah.
Like, if I would have waited an hour, then it would have been a lot better. But, yeah, it's like, all right, I'm just going to get out, do a ride, so I can say I did.
Yeah. Nice job, though. Clearly, you've got energy you didn't have previous to this. And that's good.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Well, we're good. We're good. We're here. We're good.
We're good. And we're here and we're good.
We're so good. We're here and we're going to do a show, and we got Wendy later, and we're not doing an email. Instead, we're going to talk about a general issue, which I think is a good one.
Cool.
But I always like when we do these because they're
something military, you're saying? So like a general issue, like how to deal with the lazy corporals?
more of a colonel issue, which is,
a colonel issue?
all the way
how
down.
to play horse hockey.
Right. Yes, we're going to learn how to play horse hockey today. So get your
Perfect. Excellent.
get your horse and your hockey stick, and we're ready to roll. But this will happen later, and we're going to talk about self-care and what that means in a modern context. Which, is a little more fun sometimes than a depressing email, which look, we don't mind getting them and talking about them. That's why we do it.
We love your depressing emails, people. Please
Yeah.
keep your depressing emails coming.
Keep them coming, but just once in a while, it's nice to break out of that and do, just a thing that's just...
For the love of free hotel room, keep those depressing emails coming.
I haven't seen him lately. Did you scare him off when you had lunch with him? Because I haven't seen him in the chat.
I must have. Well, did you see he tweeted us?
No, I missed it.
What did
he say
He had
there?
a little bit of a jab tweet. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, sweet. That's good to know
It
he's
was
back
a while back.
Yeah.
So I may... You know what? I will... Oh, yeah, it was a ways back.
Well, that's too bad. It'll be hard to find.
Yeah. I mean, basically, he was correcting something we said last Thursday, I believe, with Wendy.
Oh, I'm sure there was something to correct. What do you remember what it was? What the gist of it was?
Yeah, it was... Shoot. What was it? It was... all I can think of is something I was going to correct on a different podcast about something going into the ether, and they said that it goes into the ethos. Like, we'll just send it out into the ethos, and I felt like being free hotel room and tweeting them and saying, things go out into the ether, not into the ethos.
Yeah, that's ether, right? We're right about that,
yes.
right?
We're right about that, yes.
Nothing goes into the ethos. I mean,
now I'm going to search it. I got to search it, Scott. I have to find it.
Look it up. We need to know.
I'm searching, Scott, because...
We needed to know.
Because, by golly, we don't have Brian Dunaway this morning, so...
No. So why not dig for good information in another way?
Here we go. All right.
What do you got?
Let's see here.
Into the ether.
Adam Carolla show corrections. He corrects a lot of podcasts. So there's a lot of. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, that's an STMS question.
Oh, you found Free Hotel Room you're talking about.
I'm on his Twitter.
Oh, I
feed.
thought you were looking up the ethos thing.
Oh, no. But I can absolutely confirm. I mean, ethos is like doing the right thing, isn't it?
Let's see. Ethos is like the.
It's like another way of. It's like the equivalent of ethics. Oh, here we go. Okay, found it.
Ethos, correct? It means character. The Greek meaning character of ethos. So you're right.
Right. So
you're right.
Like having character.
Yeah, it's the same root as.
Or does it mean like 4 capital characters, 4 lowercase characters, and 3 numbers, like the character?
Yeah, a drunk. What's that called that you get into?
Guiding principles.
Guiding
Exactly.
principles.
Guiding principles. Come on. All right. So here's Bob's email or tweet from a few days ago. Temperate weather means mild temperatures, not hot.
Oh.
Your son's draft fears didn't transcend; they escalated. The show on Amazon is Patriot, not The Patriot. Also, I am Brian's biggest fan. I swear, I love emails from Bob.
Is it just Patriot? He's throwing me off now.
Yeah, the Amazon show is called Patriot.
Right. That was an email?
I didn't even catch that.
Oh, I didn't either.
But here's a correction to another show. The river in London is the Thames. It is pronounced Thames. It is not Thames. Everyone in the U.S. and the U.K. knows this.
We never said Thames. We never said that.
No. This is for a show called The Endless Adventure.
Oh, so he doesn't do it just for us. It's for whoever.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a good feeling. I like that.
Yeah.
I thought we were the target of his ire.
Here's something to. Wow. This one's sent to Mr. Adam Scott, like the actor Adam Scott.
Okay.
From Party Down, I think. Oh, I just hit back button. Okay, here we go. When you wear a bike helmet and sunglasses, you put on the helmet and then the glasses. The strap of your helmet should be under the glasses temples. Let's fix this.
Wait a minute. Is there a picture of Adam Scott wearing it wrong or something?
I'm hoping so. Let's see here. I'm not seeing one.
That's amazing.
Hold on. Note for BLL. I don't know what BLL is, but. Yeah. I actually put the sunglasses. Let's see. I do the sunglasses underneath the bike helmet strap, unless I'm using the bone conduction helmet, in which case the straps, my earpieces for my glasses help push the things, the bone conduction speakers onto my head.
You have all the cool gear. I've noticed that in your photos and stuff. You have all the badass gear.
Well, here we go. There's another one too. Morning Stream Coverville. Scott, they were Cubans living with Kramer. Scott, they were not Cubans living with Kramer. Those guys were Dominicans. I don't understand why you say things that are not true. Ask Brian. My God.
Wait a minute. You didn't correct me either. What's he talking about? Nobody corrected me.
I know. I didn't. I couldn't. I thought they were Cubans as well. But I was thinking, I guess once he said that, I was like, oh, I guess the cigars they were making, Kramer was putting them under his nose and going, Cubans.
Yeah. Because the joke was the Dominicans was the best he could get to roll these things. He would rather, but the whole idea is they were still going to make Cuban cigars. Yeah, he's right. He's right. But it's not like the whole world. I didn't get a single correction except for Bob. No one cares.
This is to another show. In the South, they call NASCAR. They do not call it NASCAR. In Germany, they call it Hefeweizen. They do not call it Hefeweizen. They do not have the letter W.
We got to keep up on these. These are great.
Here's one to JB Hager.
Okay.
He's a co-host of the Move podcast on Austin 360 Radio.
Yeah.
There is no word explicative. The word is expletive.
Wow. Does he just listen? I mean, how many podcasts is he hearing a day? That's insane.
I don't know.
I mean, he's getting us every day, so I know he's getting at least an hour and a half of us.
Yeah. He's listening to our show every day. Yeah.
But everyone else's show that he's correcting, like how many shows is that? That must be 10 podcasts you just mentioned or something.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different. Okay, Tom Papa. You know Tom Papa. He's a comedian. He's a friend of Jerry Seinfeld's, and they did that. Do you remember there was a show where they would help arguing married couples?
No.
And Tom Papa was like the marriage ref or something like that.
I don't remember that at all. I know who he is. I've seen his stand-up before.
Yeah, so he's replying to Tom Papa. So Tom Papa apparently made and I don't know what the actual comment was. I should almost look at that. He says, "Are you and Paul really overweight? You make it sound like you were just huge loads on the podcast. Also, is Paul odd when it comes to food? Like, I heard he has never eaten an egg. Sounds odd, right?"
Okay. All right. I don't know what you're doing over there, Bob, but sure. I'm looking at pictures of Tom Papa. He has a point. He's not a big rotund guy at all.
No. I remember seeing him on that.
Looks normal.
I wish I could remember what that show was. Did somebody in the chat room say? Does anyone else remember that show? Jerry Seinfeld was like, they had 3 judges. Tom Papa, who would say his name like that. I'm Tom Papa. Was the moderator, and they'd bring couples who were arguing about something dumb like, he has 11,000 Funko Pop figures and he wants to keep them all in the kitchen or something like that.
Oh, the marriage ref.
The marriage ref. Okay, so I actually had the ref word in there. And
You didn't. Yeah, you didn't imagine it. It's true. It was a real thing.
I basically did wasn't there a referee show called The Marriage something?
Yeah.
I basically did one of those.
Let's see, what years were this? This was 2010 through 2011. It only lasted 2 seasons, 22 total episodes. This was produced by Jerry Seinfeld. He was
and he was a judge for a couple episodes too, because he's friends with Tom Papa.
The marriage ref. That sounds like a dumb idea. I'm not that surprised it didn't last.
Yeah,
it
was on the. It's funny. I mean, what were the years on that? Like early 2000s?
2010, 2011.
Oh wow. Okay, so later than I thought.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe it just came on the early edge of all the new primetime evening reality game shows. Not like Amazing Race Survivor stuff, but like. Things like
is that your Final Answer show, whatever that was?
Yeah, well, I mean that one goes even further back. It wants to be a millionaire, but stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. He had here are the kind of judges he would have. He would have Cedric the Entertainer, Martha Stewart, and Jason Alexander.
Yeah.
Then he would have Larry David, Madonna, and Ricky Gervais. Tina Fey, Jerry Seinfeld, and Eva Longoria. Alec Baldwin, Kelly Ripa, and Craig Robinson. These are
some good combos.
Some big names. Larry Miller's in here. Your lookalike, Larry Miller.
I like Larry Miller. Yes,
he's cool.
People, if they follow me on Twitter, you'll see my my attempt to make an analog face app thing with Larry Miller. By the way, here's he replies to funny people. Like he replies to Conan O'Brien.
He probably listens to his show too now. That new podcast he's got.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So Conan O'Brien says, when Meryl Streep wins an Emmy for Big Little Lies, do you think she'll toss it out her car window on the way home? And Bob replies, can you imagine? But here's an even better one. Bette Midler. Here's a message directly to Bette Midler. Bette, when asked about your summer vacation plans, tell them you're going to tour the airports of the Revolutionary War.
What?
I don't know. It's not a reply, so I can't see like if it's based on a Bette Midler tweet. But
yeah, what is he talking about? That's really weird. All right, Bob.
He replied to The Rock.
Oh, what did he say there? What was the what's the message?
The Rock, so Dwayne Johnson on the Twitter said, "Damn, look at that 11-year-old punk kid with a bad afro showing an old video of The Rock with a big afro like as a 11-year-old. Used to idolize my pops till he started beating my ass in the gym and the ring, LOL, but tough love, the right kind, can be a good thing to a kid."
Yeah.
Bob replies, "This is just creepy."
Why? Because he has an afro and he's young? I mean, what's the problem? Why is it creepy? Does he mean the message of like tough love dad is a creepy?
I guess so. Or if it's just like that he's saying, I'm grateful my dad beat my ass in the ring.
I don't get it. Hey, Bob, whatever, man. Whatever churns your cheese. Whatever churns your milk.
But I swear, meeting him in person completely turned me around on Bob and makes me read his tweets in a completely different context.
Sure. But that's kind of
almost like he's like he's typing it up and then kind of elbowing the person next to him, says, "Look what I just typed to Bette Midler. Check it out. Check it out." All right, then send.
Yeah,
That sort of thing, as opposed to like we used to imagine angry Bob Peterson. I hate when you talk about sappy stuff and then play a cover song at the end of the show. Mute.
Yeah, it does change your brother. That's just true of everybody, right? Like we get this
It is true of
two-dimensional
everybody.
view of people on Twitter, and when then you
Yeah.
meet him and you're like, oh, well, you're not so bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I got a guy yesterday. He's not. I mean, I assume he's not listening now because he said he wasn't gonna. But
Oh, he will. He is.
I have
He's
somebody
listening.
who only listens. I swear he only tunes in. So So here's what I got the email. I'm not going to give names because I'm not trying to drag him through the dirt. I just don't understand the sentiment. But he says, sentiment before Bob sends a correction email. I know I said sediment. I meant
Scott,
sentiment.
sediment is what sits at the bottom of a.
Thank you. Thank you. We
Late.
got that all out of the way before Bob could even get his hands
Ask
on it.
Brian, for Pete's sake.
Well, for Pete's sake is a phrase that actually has its origins. All right, so anyway.
It's for Pete's sake, not for Pete's sake.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah!
See? You can't say anything. So he says to me, I wrote you and quit your show a year ago, and so I thought I would check back in to see how it's going. And I have to say this is the final Frog Pants show I'll listen to ever. And he happens to tune into Jury's segment on Tuesday, where I get a little hot-headed about politics, which, fine, whatever. But this was the same problem he had last year. And I said to him, I don't know what his reply is going to be, or if they'll reply at all, but I said, do you only listen to that half hour out of the 9 hours we record every week of total recorded content? Do you only listen to the half hour on Tuesday? Or what? Because the rest of the show isn't that. That's why it's there. It's this one little piece. And then the rest of the show is a million other directions. And I don't know what he's going to answer to me, but I don't understand that. I don't understand it. Like year over year, that's a year ago. And why you're also telling me, if you hate it that bad, and even if all you listened to was Jury's segment and you just, I don't know what you are. Maybe he's pro-Trump and just won't say it out loud. I don't know what his deal is. It's fine if you are. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if he is, then why are you even telling me? Just go.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Go
Just
somewhere.
Just don't listen and do something else.
Go
It's
find the
totally
other
fine.
thing that you like. There's nothing I can do for you. Like, I don't understand that kind of communication. I don't mind it when people have actual feedback, and I'll respond to it, and we can have a conversation, but it's not feedback to say, I come here in the most sanctimonious possible attitude and posture to tell you that even after a year, I still find you distasteful. I will be taking my business out. You're not even doing anything here. You've never been on Patreon, never bought a thing on the store. Like, what are you even doing?
You're not offering anything constructive. You're throwing a rock and then walking away.
I know.
There's,
And Rainbow Bright says, Scott, why are you even acknowledging him? Because it's on my mind and it's irritating me, and now it's out. That's what I do on this show. Is everyone new today? Have we all just tuned in for the first time? Scott likes to
raise your hand if you're new today, please.
Scott likes to vent. He likes to get stuff out. This is a great show to do
a
that
thing.
on. Yeah, it's been that way since 2011.
Yes.
Way back when the marriage ref was on TV.
I'm Tom Papa.
Tom Papa.
I gotta find some video of him introducing himself because he sounds like he's amazed that he's Tom Papa. I'm Tom Papa. Like he woke up, like he's Sam Beckett who leapt into the body of a comedian on a game show where they help marriages.
Yeah.
And he's reading a teleprompter. I'm Tom Papa.
Yeah, he just can't believe
Oh
it.
boy.
He just can't believe who he is. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that guy stand up in a while, but I remember him being funny in his stand up.
He was way funnier in his stand up than he was allowed to be on that show because it was an NBC deal and it was just coming off of, a few years ago, the success of Seinfeld, and this was Jerry's return of some sort to television after the hiatus. And
yeah, this is all true.
Yeah.
Well, chat room also says I like bread. I do love bread. Love bread.
I like bread. I like bread too.
Or are they talking about Tom Papa? If they're talking about Tom Papa, then I'm with him on the bread. Love me some bread.
Does Tom Papa like bread? I know Oprah likes bread.
Does she like bread?
Didn't we have an audio, or wasn't there an audio, or am I thinking of a clip from the soup? I might be.
Maybe. I mean, in a lot of ways, we're not that different than the soup. Hold on, let's see if I have a bread clip. Do I have a bread clip? Oh, I have some bread. Let's try a few of these.
Okay.
He was a bread lord!
All right, that's Bo yelling he was a bread lord. How about this one?
Schmidt's Blue Ribbon Bread gives you...
Okay, that's a fart one. That's good. How about this one?
Bread is almost as old as man.
Ew. I don't like that.
There you go. Play the J.K. Grammer just put one of the. Just play the clip that.
What? Are you
Play
all right?
the clip that J.K. Yeah, I'm
You-
sorry.
you smell toast or
I'm
what?
pausing it because the audio here.
Okay.
Because it's now being followed by a bunch of other.
This is Tom
other
Papa.
clips.
This is Tom Papa.
No. This is Oprah talking about how much she loves bread
Oh.
for 16 seconds.
I clicked the wrong one.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Hold on. J.K. Grammer. There it is. I clicked.
I put it in our chat room too, in our
All right.
Discord.
Here we go. I'm playing it.
This is the joy for me. I love bread.
Oh my gosh.
I love bread.
I mean, I'm with her. I also love bread.
I love bread. I'm thinking maybe I don't love bread as much as Oprah loves bread, but I do love bread.
I'm gonna cap that out later. That's the thing
Is
to
that
keep.
did somebody Veronica sausage that thing and slow it down for the second one? So
Yes.
she's saying,
Yes.
I love
But then they unslowed it for bread. It's very harsh at the end.
bread. Bread.
Yep. Cap this bread. I'm just putting this in my notes because later we're gonna want to have that for posterity.
We're on a cap that bread.
Yeah.
Good.
I got a pet complaint. I'd just like to register a pet complaint.
Is this a pet peeve,
Yeah,
Scott?
as a pet peeve, a peeve about a pet peeve. So the dog, Boomer, when we got her, she was a chewer. She liked to chew things, and so we did all the things you're supposed to do about designating certain toys and having her understand that that's the thing you chew, and anything else is off the table. You can't chew cables, you can't chew shoes, you can't chew any of that stuff. Well, recently she seems like she's had a little dip backwards. I mentioned the power cable thing, which I still haven't figured out, by the way. She chewed through that thing. Now the outlets outside don't work, but the what do you call it? The switch, the fuse box thing, says that nothing's wrong. And I've also reset that a couple of times just to see. It's something with the local outlet, like the actual outlet's burned out or something.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
So I'm super pissed at that. Anyway, so that's one thing. And then she goes on to, she's done this thing now where she is chewing the corners of Kim's fancy pillows. Kim has these fancy couch pillows.
Oh,
So
are they frilly or something?
no, and that's the thing. But they're kind of leathery on the corners. So I think that's attracting her because it's chewy and, she can just get in there.
This tastes like those rawhide ears or pig's ears that they give me or whatever.
A little bit. So what do you do? What do you do?
So with Daisy was never much of a chewer, but Ruby totally was a chewer, and she would chew. She would lay down in Tristan's room with her face in front of the baseboards, just laying there with her head on the carpet, face in front of the baseboards, and just start chewing the baseboards for no reason. Vicks Vapor Rub. If you can put Vicks Vapor Rub on stuff, she'll stop chewing it. Now I don't know if you want to do it with pillows.
That's not bad though. Vicks is a thing.
Yeah, Vicks Vapor Rub. They do not. Ruby did not like. It's the smell. It's just a very, very strong smell.
I mean, I could put it's the okay. So it's like rim.
You can do that on cables.
Yeah. Cables for sure. And then the rims of these things are like I don't know what to call that. Piping, like leather piping. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah,
in a car,
right.
like you'd see in a car seat or something. So it's kind of like that. I could easily just take a little around the corners, like no big deal. That'd be all right. And if the house has a nice mentholyptus thing going on,
just think of how clear your sinuses will be as you all walk around. Like,
we'll all be breathing
I can
easy.
breathe in here. Yes, exactly.
Oh wait, they said chat room says peppermint's good. I have some peppermint oil. I could do that.
Oil. Yeah, that's the same thing. I think. Well, I mean, not the same thing, but it's the same smell that turns them off.
Yeah, and the thing,
same sharp smell.
The weird bit is Rainer never did this. Never chewed a thing. Never does any of that stuff. In fact, she's afraid of plates. She's just a weird dog. But Boomer's like traditional dog. Like that looks like I could chew it. And then chew it and make a nightmare out of it. She chewed a piece of furniture, like one of the corners of Nick's his dresser thing in his room. Just chewed that thing to crap and back.
Yeah.
Like
there was a dog. Was it Toby? I think the dog's name was Toby. A bloodhound that lived with a couple across the street from us. They don't live here anymore, but they got this puppy named Toby, a little bloodhound. And as this dog grew, it just ate the stupidest things. It would rip carpeting, like the little God, what do they call that? The fingers of carpet, the tendrils of carpet. What do you call each of those individual
I
little
don't know what
strands?
those
of
are
carpet?
called. They must be called something, right? They got to be.
Yes, they're called something. Anyway, the fibers, carpet
They're
fibers.
not.
that's
They're
probably
not.
it.
Pie. Is it a pile? Oh,
Pile, shags. Yeah, I mean that sort of thing. Anyway, he would rip those out and chew those. He would eat. He would go behind the couch and eat the couch slowly from the.
Oh my
from
gosh!
from the back of the couch towards the inside. And they finally said he's a little too much for us to handle. He knew somebody who worked at the local fire department,
Yep.
and they said we would love to take Toby and have him here as our fire station dog. And so so Toby got a great home. I think he got a home with a bunch of firefighters who probably throw him fresh spaghetti, like freshly made spaghetti and all the stuff they make in the firehouse. And Toby probably had a much happier time there. I don't know if he was like a Dalmatian and got to ride on the fire truck to a to a call.
That's
but
awesome.
He would hang
though.
out there and live in the fire station
Yeah, it seems like a better place for a dog like that.
for sure.
But in my case, I don't know what to do with it. Maybe I'm going to try the peppermint and the whatnot there. I'm going to give that a
Try the
shot.
peppermint oil, the Vicks Vapor Rub. Yeah, that worked really well for the baseboards with Ruby.
Chat room may have noticed I put in a quick contest. I'm trying out something here.
Yeah.
A random prize today is going to go to the person named Shocktopus.
Shocktopus.
Shocktopus. I'm going to send Shocktopus a whisper and say, hi, whoops.
Hi, what are you wearing?
Hi, what's your...
Hi, what are you wearing, Shocktopus?
What's your address? I will send your prize.
Now
Congratulations.
everybody types lose.
Yeah. That's fair enough. All right. You want to do a quick quiz before we go
Yes,
to
I
news?
saw that in the notes here. Sure. Let's
Now,
do a quick
here's what I'm
quiz.
going to do. Instead of me planning ahead and saying, oh, here's the topic and all of that, I'm going to
Yeah.
do it in real time so that you can choose.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm hitting Quiz Builder,
Sure.
which I've been using. I like it.
Yep.
We're going to do number of questions 10.
Good.
Subject, here are your options. I want you to help me choose. It can be
Okay.
all subjects or individual ones. Here are the individuals: art, astronomy, biology, commerce, entertainment, fashion, film, food and drink, football, games, geography, general knowledge, history, literature, mathematics, medicine, music, or nature.
Well, everyone's probably expecting me to pick like music or entertainment. Let's have some fun with this. Let's do astronomy.
Astronomy. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Astronomy.
Difficulty.
Yeah,
You can have any, easy, medium, or hard.
let's go medium.
All right. I like medium as well. I'm hitting the build my quiz option, and here
Okay.
are your
I
questions.
may regret this. All right, go ahead.
Hold on, I'm going to get my buzzer ready. All right.
Yeah. Don't get the bell ready. You'll be using the buzzer a lot more than you'll be using the bell. But
Yeah. Yeah.
decide, let's pick
See-
a subject that I'm less fluent in.
All right, here we go. Number one question, first of 10. Which planet is orbited by 67 known natural satellites? And your options are, most of these are multiple choice.
Yeah.
Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, or Jupiter. So Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, or Jupiter. Which
I believe
planet?
it's either Saturn or Jupiter have like tons and tons of moons. I'm gonna say Saturn.
Jupiter is the correct answer.
Jupiter.
You were close.
Yeah,
You were so close.
Yeah.
The score is 0. Which of the following moons of Saturn is the largest? Tethys, Dione, Ipides, or Rhea? That's the one with the rings around it. That there planet.
Yeah, exactly. Can you give me those four again?
The four once again are Tethys. I think it's Tethys.
Tethys.
Tethys, maybe.
Tethys, right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Dione or
Dion.
Dion. Is it Dion?
Isn't it Dion?
I don't know.
Is it Dionn?
It's the old singer from the 60s. With the
Yeah, Dionne Warwick, yeah.
Iapetus or Rhea?
No. I think it's either Tethys or Dion. I'm going to say it's Tethys.
Incorrect. The answer is Rhea.
Oh, Rhea. Okay, wow.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. All right, here we go. Number 3. Of which planet is Adam's ring a feature? And that would be the options are Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, or Jupiter.
All right. Well, Saturn is the one with the obvious ring, but I believe Uranus also has a ring, a much smaller, thinner ring. I'm going to say Uranus.
Let's check out if your anus has the small, thinner ring. Incorrect. The answer is Neptune. And Neptune.
Oh, Neptune's the one that has the little small ring around it. Dang it.
Yeah.
Uranus is. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Uranus.
Uranus.
Number 4. Which planet does not experience seasons? And your options are Mars, Neptune, Mercury, or Venus.
I want to say it's Mercury because it one of the planets doesn't rotate. It orbits the sun, but it doesn't, like, I think it's always facing. Oh no, that would be like if it gets further and further away from the sun, closer to the sun. I'm still gonna say Mercury.
Mercury is correct. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Because it's mainly, I think I'm talking.
It's always summer in Mercury.
I'm out of my wheelhouse here, but I think it's primarily because Mercury is just so close to the sun that it's just hot all around it all the time.
Sure.
In which century was Venus first discovered? Your options are 18th, 20th, 19th, or 17th.
Early 17th century, I'm going to say.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
You're like a Galileo today. Well done. Galileo. All right, your next one. Noches Terra is a period of which planet's history?
At Taco Bell yesterday.
Can I get the Noches Terra, but no sour cream, please?
Noches Terra is a what? Is a.
Sir, we don't make those anymore. Is a period of which planet's history? So it's like us saying Cretaceous or.
Sure. Could
whatever.
you spell?
Yes.
The Noches?
Yeah, Noachis. It could be Noachis. I'm not totally sure.
Noachis.
Noachis, something like that. And it could be. So your options are Mercury, Earth, Mars, or Venus.
Mars was the one I was thinking before he gave me the options. I'm going to say Mars.
That is correct. Mars is correct.
Okay.
Oh, that was a great age. That's back when they had, I don't know what they had then. They had stuff. All right, number 7. Which planet possesses a ring entitled Eaglite 1? It's Egalite 1.
Okay.
And the options are Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus.
Let's go Saturn on this one because I don't think that there's more than one ring around Neptune. So let's stick with Saturn.
Saturn on which one has that? And the answer is it is still Neptune.
Still Neptune. Okay, so they've got Adam's ring and Eaglite 1 ring.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you here.
Oh, Egalite ring. Okay.
Egalite. I didn't know Neptune had rings at all. So shows what I know. I have no idea. I had no idea that was correct.
And it's also sideways, if I remember correctly.
Oh, it's like tilted?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
it depends on how you're looking at it, right? Like if you're looking at it.
Well, in relation to all the other planets, their rotation is somewhat parallel to their orbit around the sun. Neptune's is offset compared to its orbit around the sun. So it's like on a different,
That's awesome. But if you were in Star...
I'm sorry, Uranus. Uranus is the one that's sideways. See, I always get Uranus and Neptune. Those last two, about roughly the same size, roughly the same color in the toy that I had as a kid growing up, showing all the planets. All right, let's keep going.
I think you're doing all right. All right, next question is, which planet lies between Jupiter and Uranus?
Oh, okay. I don't even need choices. It's Saturn.
You are correct. And it didn't give us choices, so...
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Oh, well.
Well, Pluto's still in flux, right? Aren't they considering bringing it back again and making it full planet? I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, which of these dwarf planets was originally considered a 9th planet of the solar system? Was it?
Wait. Which of these dwarf planets is okay?
Yeah.
Pluto. I don't need a.
Yeah, you don't need any more than that.
Yeah,
it's
we
funny
just talked about it.
just
Don't
talking
need
about it.
Multiple choice.
All right, you're doing all right here at the tail end. Final question: which planet has a nickel iron core? And your options are Mars, Earth, Mercury, Venus.
Nickel iron core.
Nickel iron core.
I'm going to say Mars. Was that one of the choices, Mars?
Yes, Mars, Earth, Venus, and Mercury. You say Mars?
I'm gonna say Mars. Mhm.
The answer is Earth. Earth.
Oh, Earth does?
And it may be because we only I don't know if we've been able to penetrate that deep on any other. We don't know.
I think of carbon. I don't think of nickel, and we have Nickelback and iron.
Yeah, Iron Man and Nickelback all up in the core of the Earth. Your final score is I don't know because I didn't write it down. Did anyone write it down?
4 or 5, probably.
Probably 4 or 5. You did. I'm going to give you half. I think you did a good 50%er here. That's pretty good for, this being a subject that's not really your deal.
You know what? And we'll next time we do this, we'll let the chat room pick the subject.
Okay. Totally. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like this, but I do. So
I do too. That's kind of fun.
We'll keep doing it as time permits. All right. Time for this.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive sensational summary of world and local events.
Let's do the news, brought to you by.
Brought to you by This Time Tomorrow. Hammond and I are going to start going through all the applications for America's Next Top Podcaster Season 2. What does that mean? That means you've got 24 hours. If you're on the fence, if you're thinking about this, saying, maybe I could do this. Well, you should do this. You should go to americasnexttopodcaster.com and submit an application to be part of Season 2 because it's your last chance. Be part of the show that has not only launched the careers of, not really launched the careers, but introduced you folks to Alex Albisu, Gidget Von LaRue, people you probably already knew, Amy Frost, and there's a bunch of people involved.
Yeah, all you guys that are like, hey, Gidget's been really funny on the show lately. I like that thing you're going to do with her once a month, and she was great yesterday sitting in for Brian Dunaway. She probably wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for that.
Right, exactly. And there are new shows that are popping up that are going to be starting because of America's Next Top Podcaster. So check it out. Become an applicant. Go to americasnexttopodcaster.com and submit an application.
I like it. Tomorrow's the big day. You're going to start going through those.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Actually, I do enjoy that part.
24 hours, you guys. That's not a lot of time, but I know
No.
you could record a lot of stuff in 24 hours. And only 30 minutes of it has to be political.
Right. Exactly.
All right. First story here. This is great. A Florida town is trying to get a bunch of homeless people to go away.
Yeah.
And the way they're doing it,
on the news this morning.
they are blaring versions of Baby Shark and Raining Taco. Now, I don't know what Raining Taco is.
I don't know what Raining Taco is either, but I'm sure somebody's going to put one here in the chat room.
So here's a chance for us to see if we get demonetized for something called Raining Taco. Here it is. Let's play it. I found it already.
Raining Taco.
Here we go.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes.
I guarantee they'll demonetize me for that. I haven't heard that, but that has currently 5,993,000 views. So there you go.
Lana Del Rey, everybody. Lana Del Rey with her.
Yeah, it's raining tacos.
Hallelujah.
Ninja Steve says that's my jam. I'll bet it is. Anyway, so that and the Baby Shark thing, which you all know, and I will not ruin your day by playing. By the way, so this is interesting. My wife says she hears Baby Shark and she says, that's not new. I said, what do you mean? I know it's been around for a while. She goes, no, I don't mean like in the last couple of years. That's when I was like 13 and went to girls camp. We'd sing this around the fire.
Somebody else said that too.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, are you kidding me? She goes, absolutely.
Jackalope Ashley.
Yeah.
I remember last when we were talking about this with Brian Dunaway or somebody. Brian Dunaway who sings it. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark doo 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 doo.
I have that, by the way. Let me play it. I think I have it. Yeah, here it is.
Baby shark.
Oh, I love that so much.
So I think Jackalope Ashley had mentioned before. Somebody had mentioned in the chat room last time we talked about this that that song was around a lot longer, which is crazy.
See, Mush Potato saying the same thing. His wife was a camp counselor, and they would sing it. It feels like somebody should have. Oh yeah, more and more people are saying it.
Somebody should have put a stop to it a lot sooner.
Yeah, that or somebody should have like I don't know, gotten more, or somebody else should have monetized it. Not this, South Korean company with no connection to camping in America. We should have gotten it. Should have been us.
That's right.
All right. Anyway, look at this remix of Baby Shark. Hold on.
All right.
Let me see what this is. Give it a sec.
Okay.
We're gonna drop the beat. Here it comes.
What?
All right, it's kind of the same, just has a beat.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Leo metal cover of Baby Shark.
That should have happened already.
It really should have.
what
Yeah.
is he
If
doing?
it hasn't, I'm amazed.
Maybe he has. I was looking at him the other day. That guy,
Yeah.
he's freaking great.
He is. He is such an amazing talent.
Yeah.
Oh, Davey Chorus says that he has already done it.
Has
Okay.
he? Okay. That would make sense. Maybe he'll do Raining Tacos next. That'd be cool.
Listen, J.K. Grammer, we don't get a takedown notice. We get a demonetization notice, meaning that we don't make any money from the YouTube.
Yeah.
People watching YouTube rebroadcasts of
The
the
nice
show.
thing is we don't anyway, really. Like, I was looking at my stuff the other day. It's
Yeah,
YouTube.
let them have those 8 cents.
It's nothing. You're literally like 8 cents. Like if I'm lucky, that's and so it never adds up to be enough for them to even to send a check. It's so dumb. So it's not that big a deal. I just never like to get blocked. And you know what got us blocked was that one with that Ryan kid. That got us blocked. I showed that Ryan kid video, like 20 seconds of silent muted video, and the
Ryan kid.
The Ryan. It was Nicole told us about him. It was the
kid
and his parents doing stuff, and he's like hugely popular or whatever.
That the kid who plays with toys on YouTube.
Yeah, that's
and makes
the one.
Billions and billions of dollars. Yes,
Ryan's toy review. That's the kid, and he does really well. And I guess they are so picky about how well they do that they won't let you show 20 seconds of soundless. It was fair use. Yeah. All we're doing is going, oh, here's this thing that's readily available on the internet. How about?
I know, and we were reviewing it. Critical review is covered under copyright law. So
it annoys
stick
me.
That in your.
It annoys me. F. Ryan says he can just bask in his millions of dollars.
F that 4-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Whatever he is.
I think he's like 6 or 7, but it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so this Baby Shark song and this Raining Taco song in West Palm Beach, they've been playing it on continuous loop through the night to keep homeless people from sleeping on the patio of the city-owned rental banquet facility. West Palm Beach Parks and Recreation Director Leah Rockwell tells the Palm Beach Post, "Oh, I just read Parks and Rec and it made me a little sad to hear that, didn't it?
Yeah,
didn't that make you a little sad?
Show.
Here, I'm gonna play. I have a song. Do you want to hear it?
If we're gonna let's lean hard into this demonetization.
Yeah, we're gonna lose anyway.
Sing Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt.
One of the best things that anyone ever did. But I love that intro. It's so good.
I do too.
Makes me miss
such
it.
A great show.
Makes me miss it. That's back when like Chris, what's his name, was all fat and stuff.
Right. I know.
He wasn't all sexy and popular.
Yeah, I know. Star-Lord. Who?
Star-Load, more like.
Or he became a sex symbol.
Yeah. People think he's a hottie now. You know, he married into the Schwarzenegger family, that Pratt did.
Yeah, first he was married to Anna Faris for a while, wasn't he?
Long time, yeah.
Yeah, and then they got divorced, and then now he's married to a Schwarzenegger.
He got really popular.
When are you coming over after dinner? Bring your new husband.
As soon as he went Star-Lord,
get to the oven.
That was the beginning of the end of that marriage, I think. And now he has to go Thanksgiving at the Schwarzenegger's house. Can you imagine that? Like just sitting there and having him go, like, what is that?
Pass the turkey. Are you going to have those rolls all night?
Get to the oven. That's the best thing about what you just did. Somebody put that in the titles. Get to the oven. That's pretty good.
Get to the oven? All right.
Yeah. You have to, because that way we can say it in the show with the accent. And I'll make sure Brian does it. That's really good. Anyway, they don't know if this is going to work, but some people are mad. They say it's bad to chase these people away, that it's, not cool to do. I don't know where I stand on it. I mean, public property's weird. Like here in Salt Lake City, they can't actually tell. Homeless people can't sleep there, but all day they can hang around and sort of do whatever in like the public library space and some of that other stuff. And I don't exactly know how that works. So maybe it's different in Florida. I don't know. Different rules, different cities. I have no idea.
We had a just this last spring was on the ballot to end the camping ban. Basically, we had an urban camping ban that basically was the same thing, like basically saying that homeless people can't sleep in public parks and things like that. And so they're trying to get them into homeless shelters and places like that where yeah, they're a little bit safer, but it's also just jam packed and it's a bad situation in both
either way
directions, but it didn't pass. Like they were trying to overturn it, and it like lost by 82%. See people saying no, we're not going to overturn it.
Yeah, we've got every city's got their issues.
Yeah, I
think we benefit from, and maybe Denver's like this too. I mean, we both probably have sizable homeless populations, but I think it benefits Rocky Mountain states. Not benefits, but we have harsher winters, and so I think that means our population's lower, or at least maybe it's more seasonal, like people come in and come out. But like if you're in San Francisco or LA, the reason, I mean, those are also huge cities, but the reason they're so bad is it's good weather all year.
You can live there year round without having to freeze in the wintertime.
Vegas would be rough. I would be real rough in Vegas.
You could not do Vegas even, I mean,
it'd be really
9 months out of the year, you'd be in unbearable heat. Although they apparently have that amazing underground. Last time I was there.
Should define amazing.
Well, all right. Yeah, maybe that. I mean, impressive by all accounts. I haven't seen it. You saw the documentary on it, but it's supposed to be a really impressive underground tunnel system that the homeless live in.
It's crazy down there. Like the fact that that tunnel system exists is weird, but it seems like a different planet. It's like a movie or something down there. Like it's just, I don't know what to compare it to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a movie or something. Like Book of Eli or something. People are just down there. It just feels like the world has ended, and this is where everyone's hiding.
Or something from the X-Men comics.
Yeah,
they've got this.
It's really crazy.
But when I was there last time, the Lyft driver or the car I was in took a different way than I'm used to going around, and we went around a loop, around a clover leaf to get on the highway, and looking down, you could see one of the entrances to the tunnels, and there were like 6. It was almost like a parking lot around, perfectly arranged around the opening to this tunnel of 6 grocery carts. So it was almost like all right, you're coming in out of the tunnels, leave your grocery cart here, take your stuff down with you, and then when anybody comes out, grab a grocery cart and take it where you need to go. But just like perfectly arranged, like a set of cabs at the airport or something.
Yeah, they have like these rules, some of them just sort of unspoken rules about how society works down there. It's very weird. Very odd. Yeah. I can't imagine it's much cooler though in the summer. I mean, I guess it's cooler in the summer because you're out of the sun, but that must be just the smelliest, nightmarish place to be.
It would be so hard. Honolulu had a large, what do they call that? A cardboard shantytown or something like that. But a whole section on the eastern side of Honolulu that looked like, I mean, they were cardboard structures. They looked like permanent structures just made out of cardboard, basically. But I mean, obviously you've got, 80-degree weather there year round. So it's a much easier climate to be homeless in. I just don't know how you get to Honolulu and say, all right, I'm gonna go live there where it's 80 degrees year round.
Chat was having a chat earlier in here about how we're so worried about whether they should be able to sleep anywhere that we're not tackling the actual problems. I mean, you kind of have to do both at the same time. Like you can look at the root issues and work on those, which are long term and big investments and lots of, there's all sorts of thought on how that can be done and handled. But then you have the immediate issue of, well, tonight, what do we do tonight? Right. Like you kind of have to do both.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just send him to the shelters without addressing the problems that come up in the shelters. And so
Right. It's a huge, complicated thing, is I guess what I'm saying.
Ninja Steve, I definitely said shantytown. I don't know. I mean, a shantytown sounds great if it's, lemonade and beer, but no, it's.
Is it shanty? It should be shanty.
It's a shantytown.
Yeah, there's no shandy, right?
No, not a shantytown.
Shandy's coming up on the center stage. Everybody put your hands together for Shandy.
Anyway.
I'm going to tell you about a really cool book. You ready for this?
I want to hear about a cool book.
The ABCs of Metallica. The heavy metal band Metallica is releasing their own children's book.
Really?
Yep,
all right.
This is real. The heavy metal band Metallica announced they are releasing this book, which is sure to become a treasured classic at baby showers and christenings for generations to come. It's called The ABCs of Metallica. Will tell in alphabetical rhymes the history of one of the world's greatest heavy metal bands.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Never mind that noise you heard.
It says, for a really wholesome experience, we suggest pairing a bedtime reading with some Metallica's most loved lullabies, such as Seek and Destroy, and, of course, Enter Sandman. Johann Brahms himself, I guess that's Johannes Brahms himself, couldn't imagine such placid soundscapes. The band revealed the extremely cute cover on the website and social media channels. According to the announcement, a portion of the proceeds of the book will go to the All Within My Hands Foundation. This is Metallica's nonprofit that supports workforce education and hunger prevention. So, I mean, obviously,
it is a cute book cover. Is that Kirk Hammett in the middle?
Let me take a look. Oh, whoops.
I can't tell. I recognize Lars.
I see Lars,
James,
obviously.
And James, but
I guess so. Yeah, the current guy, right? What's his
well,
name?
Kirk Hammett in.
Is Kirk Hammett the one that doesn't seem to age? Is that him?
I think so. Yeah.
He doesn't get old. The rest of them do, but he doesn't.
I don't like the fact that he's not smiling while the rest of them are smiling.
Yeah.
Like he looks angry.
He's angry.
Oh, Kirk's on the left. Oh, who's that? Who's that in the center then?
That's the bassist guy, the current guy.
Yeah.
That's I want to say third or fourth bassist into the band now, whatever
right.
it is. But
bassist, like Spinal Tap goes through drummers.
He
Robert Trujillo. Thank you. Yeah.
There you go. That's
Robert
the guy.
Trujillo.
He's the current dude. This is obviously a little tongue in cheek in terms of obviously. The history of the band doesn't matter to some little kid, but this is all for charity, and I would totally buy this book. Like, this is something I want.
And there are going to be way more fans who buy the book for themselves than buying it for a little kid to be able to read the story. And then,
guaranteed.
And then Lars said, F Napster.
Fire bad, said Hetfield. No, I do have the Art of Mad Max Fury Road, Max Payne. Of course I do. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are they all Gidget says I need to rewatch Spinal Tap. What's that about? I like Spinal Tap.
I think that
is it because I got the trivia
based
wrong?
on the trivia question, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time.
How the drummers died, the various ways.
I could tell you almost everything there is about Best in Show, because I guess I've just seen it more recently. But Spinal Tap, I think the last time I saw Spinal Tap was like maybe the 80s. It was a long time ago. Yeah,
that is my favorite Christopher Guest. I mean, if you call it a Christopher Guest film, it was before he started doing his like Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman,
right?
For Your Consideration, all those.
It's definitely a mockumentary thing, though, right? Same sort of thing.
Yeah. Same concept, but I didn't feel like he was at the center of making it happen like he was for those other things.
Mm-hmm.
But that's easily my favorite of all the ones that they've done.
Oh, that reminds me.
He's done.
It reminds me, Michael McKean, who is in a shocking turn, he's in Good Omens as a Scottish character. That guy knows his English and Northern Ireland / Scottish accents, man. Like,
he does.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's great in it.
He's great. And whoever his agent is, you're doing a great job. Getting him on Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Getting him on Good Omens. Like they seem to pick the right projects for Michael McKean.
Turns out that dude's
he's
got
more
range.
than just Lenny.
Yeah. He's got range. Lots of range.
He's got range.
What happened to Squiggy? Where's he at?
Well, I don't know what happened to
Hold on. I'm going to find it.
What happened to Squiggy? What happened to Squiggy?
David Lander, still with us.
Okay.
And let's see. I remember him most recently from.
I like this. Squiggy had Parkinson's. Dead. Baseball scout. Like the chat room is like throwing a dart at a dartboard of.
Oh, he's
what
70,
happened to so-and-so?
72 years old. Wow.
Oh, wow.
He's getting on there. He was in this amazing television show called. Hold on.
Squiggy was?
Yeah. It's a kid show. And it was called Oswald, 2001 to 2003. He played the voice of Henry. He was a penguin in 22 episodes of that show. It's called Oswald. It is one of the most delightful kid shows. I loved it. Fred Savage was in it. Let's see, Lorraine Newman.
Sounds familiar.
Really?
Lorraine Newman.
Yeah,
wow.
I loved that little show. It was just adorable. It was just about this octopus and his friends, and that penguin character was just the best, and he sounded like Squiggy, and he was great. Anyway,
That's cool.
hope that guy's doing all right.
Yeah.
We are going to take a break. When we come back, it'll be Wendy. She'll be here, my sister.
It'll be Wendy.
It will be Wendy, and she will have things
the
to say.
chance of Wendy.
When that happens, you'll all be glad. Before that, though, you'll be gladder to know there's a song on tap. Brian's got it. What are you doing?
Well, hey, speaking of shows that we like, did you ever watch Master of None on Netflix with Aziz Ansari?
Yes, I like that a lot. It was wait, is it on Netflix? What was that on?
I thought it was Netflix.
Yeah, you're right. It is. I did like that show, and the only thing that was weird is when he was getting yelled at for sex harassment stuff, and it made me kind of not want to watch it as much.
Oh, right.
But
right.
I thought that show was brilliant. It was really good.
Do you remember his co-host on there, or co-host, his co-star on there, Noelle Wells, the girlfriend that he was apart from for a little while, and then I think they kind of got back together, but
Kind of,
they
sort
lived
of.
together for shortly anyway. Noelle Wells, she was on Master of None. She was also on Saturday Night Live as a series regular, or as a featuring, I think, for a season or two. She is not just a talented actress and comedian, she's also a very talented singer, and she is releasing, let's see, this is a new single, the opener to her anticipated debut full-length album, which is going to be called It's So Nice. This was written in an afternoon, I'm not lying, written in an afternoon, this song, while she happened to be Airbnb-ing at Connie Britton's house while she was in Austin shooting a pilot.
Wait a minute.
So
Connie Britton puts her house up for Airbnb?
I guess so. You should go. Let's go stay in Connie Britton's house in Austin for a week.
Yeah, I want to sleep in the Coach Taylor room. That'd be cool.
It's a lot more well furnished than the 911 room, that's for sure. Anyway, this brand new single, this makes me really, really excited for the album, because I think she's just delightful to listen to. Great voice, and just from the opening chord progression on this song, I was like, oh, this is going to be, I'm putting this on TMS. The song is called Played for Keeps. There's also a great video that goes along with it. Here is Noelle Wells and Played for Keeps.
I got the hair, the shoes, sophistication up the butt.
I hope you have a great day.
I'm Scott Fletcher, and I am the spirit of dark and lonely waters. This is the Morning Stream.
All right, we're back. Yes.
Squiggy is about a baseball scout. He's a scout for M's. Let's see. So this is the Seattle Times. Oh, the Mariners.
Wait
so
a minute.
He's a scout for the Mariners.
The actor guy?
Yeah, Lander, Andrew Squiggy Squigman.
Shut up.
At least in 2004, was a scout for the Seattle Mariners.
That is weird. What an odd thing.
That's crazy. Thank you, Anna Krakatow, for finding that article. That's awesome.
He's still around. Maybe he really does have Parkinson's then. Well, that makes me sad. I don't want to know that. That
Maybe.
sucks.
I don't know.
That's no good. What
me
he's
see
doing?
if
Is there any
that's-
pictures of him recently? I don't know. I'm so
the article
curious.
doesn't. I just did a search. The article doesn't mention Parkinson's, but
Andrew Lander. Oh, there's some young dude now named.
Oh, he has MS.
Oh, that's no good. Well, at least you rode for MS. You got some money.
I did. I rode for Squiggy.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for Squiggy.
Do it for Squiggy. Everybody, pour one out
Actually,
for
I'm
Squiggy.
doing my I decided that because we've had bad weather and I've had all these other things going on the weekends. Sunday is my makeup ride day. I'm going to ride from the north end of town to the very south end of town.
Is this to finish out your? This is to finish out that extra day.
This is my own personal. Yeah, I mean, nobody's saying, "Oh, you need to do a makeup ride, Brian," except for me saying I need to do a makeup ride. So
I like that. That's some nice. That's good. You don't need to do it at all, and here you are doing it.
Exactly. So it's funny. I'm doing it Sunday morning, and Tina's going to meet me at a couple different spots along the way.
Yeah.
To be my rest stops with Gatorade refills and little snacks.
Is she gonna do the vanilla wafers with the bananas and the peanut butter and stuff?
She better. She wants to do it right.
That's awesome.
What are you talking about?
Oh, hi. Brian did a charity bike ride. Not even a month ago yet. Like 3 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was June 30th, 29th and 30th, and I did it. The first day, didn't realize I had a bad cold, or I was developing a cold. Sunday morning, the cold settled in, and I just couldn't do the second half of the ride. So now I'm going to do the second half of the ride this coming Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, but like
on my own. On my own, by myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He's just making up for it because he's
Just
committed.
A personal commitment.
Yeah.
I like it.
That is good, right? That seems like the right thing to do. Well, now I got to think something charitable to do. What can I do? Chat room, for every like and retweet, I'll give a hoot. Wendy, hey, what's my sister Wendy, everybody? She's here from all the way from Minnesota, is where she resides these days. She is a therapist, comes on Thursdays, and helps people with their problems, although today we're going to be a little bit more general about it. How are you, and how was your week?
Good. Yeah.
Did we even have a show? We didn't have a show last week with you, did we? Or did we?
Yeah, we did.
Did we? Oh, I don't remember. Oh, yeah, we did. I remember now. Yep. I remember the topic and everything.
We did.
I think that guy followed up, in fact. Didn't you get? I think we got an email from
We did.
or
Yeah,
that
a little more
lady or
information. It's
man,
good.
whatever it was.
Keep it going. Good. You turned 50 yesterday. How are you doing?
I'm fine. It's like no different. I don't feel any different today. It was fine. We had kind of a wacky day. Worked out great though. This weekend we're taking off for the kids and Kim are taking me away. They're whisking me away, and so I'm gonna try to get a little time off and spend some time with Van and eat good food and chill out and be by a pool and all that. Yeah, it should be.
Where are you going?
We are going to. I found out now. They've been holding it kind of secrety, but I found out it's in. Is it Midway? What's the part? It's by Park City.
Yeah.
Midway, with the big Swedish.
Yeah,
thing.
it's Swiss. Thank you.
Or
but
sorry,
yeah.
Swiss. Sorry. Yeah, I don't want to offend the Swedes at all. With my
Let me tell you, if it was Swedish, it would just be like birch wood and clean lines. And no, this is like chalet. You feel like you're gonna hear yodeling.
Oh,
That's
big time.
Switzerland.
People are going to be wearing like it feels like I'm going to like one of those beer fest things, even though those are German, but it's very Swiss. Anyway, so we're doing that
fun.
and some time in Park City and just kind of going up a few thousand feet to get out of the heat, that sort of thing.
To chill out.
Yeah, it'll be nice. I'm looking forward to it.
So I thought they were going to keep it all secret from you.
They were, but I can't remember what happened. Somehow someone let it slip in a phone call, and I heard it, and I said, "That's where we're going," and they're like, "You're not supposed to hear that," and then it was all out. So it's all good
fun.
though. I love that whole place, which is why they're doing it. So it'll be fun, and Dylan and Taylor will be there, and we get there, like the whole fam family will be there, which will be great.
Oh, fun. I can't wait to meet that little baby.
Yeah,
oh,
he's
cute.
amazing. You'll love him. And I can't wait to see you guys. We're talking like what, a month now, a month and a week or something.
We're heading over.
Yep, it's gonna happen. So watch for that. So today,
and we're driving because
I didn't know that.
Oh, it saves so much money, and also I'll get sick of driving at some point. But we have never been to the Mount Rushmore, so that we're gonna stop and
cool
get our American pride on.
Those presidents are rad. I like those presidents. Those are great ones.
Yeah, those are good ones. So anyway, we will do a little, we'll see the Badlands a little bit on our way.
Yeah,
so we're excited.
That's great.
And then I think once you've done it once, I don't know if you want to do it ever again. So we might fly after that, but we're driving this time.
This is going to be a beast of a drive. I'll tell you this though. Are you okay? Do you have the Johnson thing where I can't drive more than 20 or 25 minutes before I feel like I'm going to fall asleep. It's kind of bad. It's been that way my whole life, by the way.
I thought you were going to say, I can't drive 25 minutes without needing Cheese Whiz on a cracker.
No. Although I do need a lot of snacks. Actually, I need a lot of distractions while I'm driving, or else I feel like I'm just going to fall asleep. And in the past, like that trip home from LA with Dad when I was in my teens, I almost killed myself and, fell asleep at the freaking wheel. I did this I've done this multiple times. Like me driving, no problem if it's a quick get around or if it's lots of stops and lights and turns and stuff in a city or whatever. That's fine. But put me on a big strip of road that goes forever and we're talking 10-hour drive, we're screwed if Kim's not there because I fall asleep. I just can't do it.
I don't have that. I do have I drove all night last summer when we moved here and we drove back to Salt Lake. We did 20 hours straight.
Oh my gosh.
I was driving in the middle of the night, like horking nerds and Diet Coke and pinching myself, like punching myself in the face
just to
stay
awake.
Yeah,
oh my God.
So bad.
By the way, just for the record, I don't know if anyone just heard that, but Wendy said horking as I'm scarfing or eating.
Yeah.
I've done it too. People always call me out on that phrase. I think it must have been regional or local here or something.
I remember horking as well.
Yeah. So it must be
but I do remember
what should I say?
But no, I do remember Dana Carvey as Garth on the Wayne's World, when they're doing that skit talking about I'm gonna hork.
Oh, I always thought he said you're right. He said hork and spew. He said spew as well. And hurl.
Spew. I'm gonna spew or hurl.
Yeah. And the people that were calling me out on this, it must not have been on this show, but some other show, somebody was saying, you don't say hork. That's when you're going out. If you're going in, you're scarfing or you're pounding it down or whatever the words are. And I said, no, we used to say, I'm gonna hork this whole bag of chips.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hork it down.
That's funny. You're right.
Yeah.
Now it sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Way to ruin.
I know. I've ruined it for
me.
everybody. Nice job. Find out what they do in Minnesota, and you'll be okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let's. Today we're gonna do something a little bit different. I think this is gonna be a good topic. It turns out, I won't get into details here, but this has been a bit of a rough week for the Frog Pants land. And I don't want to do specifics. I can talk to Wendy off air about it, but. Just kind of a rough thing came up that is shocking and hard to deal with, and it got me to thinking about this very thing, not only for the person involved, but for the rest of us who are hearing about it and wondering how to feel about it. And sorry for the vagaries. I just don't think I can talk about it on TMS yet. But the idea of self-care is an important one. Also, I think it means something more in a modern context than it ever used to. In fact, I don't think I've even heard that term until, I don't know, last 10 years or something. So let's talk about it, what it is, how people can implement it, what resources they should look for, and so on.
Okay. So let's talk first about, I'm going to use you guys a little bit as my guinea pigs here for your experience of
Bring it on.
Stress. So think about, what's happening more and more in my practice is I'm working with younger and younger people who are having midlife crises and burnout and, sort of panic attacks, and just at a younger age, the effects of stress and anxiety are like, it just seems anecdotally like it's on the rise and it happens younger, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'd be interested in your, Scott, you're really old, 50.
So you're not that far, by the way. I'm here waiting for you.
I know. So you've definitely grew up in a world without what you have now. Whereas, these 22-year-olds I'm meeting with have had cell phones in their hands from the minute they could have them, so there's definitely a different element to childhood now, and some other parenting things that happen now that didn't exist when you were a kid. So you've got that as a background. And then Brian, obviously you've got your own story here, but give me a sense of how you've experienced burnout, stress, managing all the things from your younger years to sort of now. Do you feel like there's a big difference? Do you see others, even your own children? Does it feel sort of foreign how they are, the world feels to them versus how it felt to you at that age? Just give me kind of a sense. I want to first paint the picture of over time? Because there is some big differences that are showing up, and let's get your 2 input first.
Brian, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, the corporate, the quote unquote corporate world of newspaper sales, software support management, that was probably, I'm just kind of thinking back, like that's the only time I really experienced a lot of burnout and stress and that sort of thing. And I left that when the podcasting thing started. I did that for a couple of years as a hobby at night, and then decided, all right, let's try and make a go of making this a business. But how I dealt, so you're kind of wondering like how I dealt with it at the time of like getting burned out at that job?
Yeah, or just your experience of how stress occurred in your life when you were younger versus what it sort of your experience of it now.
I might, I know I got stressed out with school when I was younger, and having to keep up with multiple projects and probably more of that like in college at the art school I went to, like having, we had multiple classes, each one had a major project due at the end of the semester. So I'd be working on this painting where I was taking The Last Supper and redoing it with all the Bloom County characters, and then I had to make a 3-dimensional trade show display and all that. And it seemed like probably have more work to do these days than I did back then, but definitely felt unprepared to handle all the work I had to do back then more than I do now, right? Like I felt way more buried by it all and unable to kind of keep up with everything.
So what did you do to, like, we're going to use this self-care concept. You did not call it that back then, but what was your self-care back then? How did you re-energize when you're, stressed and...
Oh, I'd say alcohol. No, I'm kidding. Lots of tasty alcohol. Right. No, I think I was always just taught to just put my head down and muddle through it. I never saw my dad say, I just had to get away from work for a while and I just had to go on a quick vacation. I'm just going to drop it all and go. Like I'd see him stressed. I'd see him working hard, and I would just see him basically, it has to be done. I'm just going to continue to work hard and keep going. And keep going. And so I think that's the kind of thing that I did myself, and probably not very healthy to just ignore the stress and burnout and say, well, it'll go away eventually. I'm going to keep working hard and muddling through. And I don't know if I'm more inclined these days to say, I'm just going to, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to take a week off and say, I'm doing this later and go treat myself to a trip somewhere. But because I don't feel like I could do that. I feel like it's, you make commitments, you stick to your commitments, you honor your commitments. And
then you're stressed on the vacation because because
oh my God. Yeah, that actually is the worst part, is when I'm trying to enjoy something that I should be enjoying, and I'm thinking about the things that are waiting for me back home that need to get done, or clients that have work that needs to be done, or t-shirts that need to get shipped out, or things like that. So for sure.
So it's not actually a freedom from that. Right. Okay, so give me a sense real quick, and then we'll switch to Scott.
Sure.
What you do now
Yep.
to manage the stress. And I'm talking maybe more little things, not necessarily a big old vacation, but what tactics do you, and maybe you don't have any and you're just muddling through.
No, I do. And it's funny because it's kind of a fortunate side effect of trying to do all the different things that I'm trying to do these days. Cause I've got the freelance work, I've got the, podcasting obviously, and then this Lyft thing that I've just kind of I'm dabbling in Lyft in rideshare.
Okay.
But they kind of all work towards, all right, I'm feeling really stressed out on this website I've been working on for the last 3 or 4 hours. I'm going to go drive Lyft for an hour and just drive people around, listen to music, be in the car, still making money, still doing work, but just the change, not working any less hard, but it's just a total change of scenery, and that helps me so much. I was telling Scott that the thing I love about doing this, the Lyft stuff, is that I can't multitask while I'm driving somebody around. I can't say to myself, ooh, I really should be working on this while I drive, or figuring out songs for the show while I drive, or preparing for TMS while I drive. I just, I'm given a task. I have one item on my to-do list at any given time. Once I complete that, I'm given a new item on my to-do list. And when I'm finished for the day, I have no items on my to-do list.
Well, in some extent, like it forces you in the present because you're not driving from work and back in the same place where your brain can go.
Right.
You are actually navigating,
actively navigating and paying attention to the road that I just drove by that I was supposed to turn left on. And
there's a person in your car who's a stranger. So you're already more alert into the present moment. That's cool. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So Scott, how about you? Your past self and your current self. What's your past self like stress wise, and how did you handle it?
It's funny you bring that up because it's definitely different. There's two very different me's when it comes to stressful stuff. Not that one's better than the other, because I think I'm in a bit of a quandary right now about a particular stressful thing. But like back in the day, I would just kind of like Brian, I would just sort of push through it. You and I were raised by, our dad anyway, never wanted help from anybody ever. Like it didn't matter what you were doing. If you were moving, we got it. If the business is struggling, we got this. Whatever the thing was, you didn't ask for help. And that for him, that translated a lot of things, like he didn't go to the doctor very often, or he didn't, he just didn't like to do that stuff. Didn't want to put other people out, was how I read it all the time. And I'm kind of the same way. And when I was younger, if something stressful would happen, or something that would easily be rectified by me just saying, hey, can you help me move this weekend, as an example, I wouldn't do it. And I still don't do that. I hate that. I like to be super prepared, ready to go, and I don't need anyone's help doing it. I can't stand it. I hate asking for help. So that's still kind of a thing. But that's one way that I would deal with the stress, is I would just say, well, I'm capable. I'm going to put my head down and go for it. I'm just going to get this done. And what I started to do was, I felt like I could just get through whatever it was. And so for a long time, that's totally what I did. But I'll say two things have happened in my more recent years. One is I'm less trying to be a proxy for everybody else's problems. I've gotten better at saying, instead of just having sympathy pain for everybody, I'm like, well, they kind of have to deal with their own stuff. I'm going to deal with my stuff. I can't control them, and I can't change things for them. So I'm going to stop worrying for them all the time. I've gotten better at that. And that's been a big stress reliever for me, because I'm just less. I mean, some say you just have less F's to give, but maybe that's part of it. But I just don't. Maybe I've just finally learned I can't fix everybody else, so I can only do what I can do, and that's helped. But on the other hand, here's a bold statement. I think that social media and the way I internalize it has made me more stressful.
For sure.
And in recent months, I've really had to start coming to terms with this, and I think it's hard for people to admit, because they don't want to admit that this thing that's relatively new as a human construct has any ill effects.
100% new. How is this relatively new? This is like
it's
in
new.
The scheme of things.
In the larger scheme of human history, it couldn't be newer, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's not been great for me in that regard, and especially in this current climate, politically speaking, especially, I let it get to me so bad. Like, it really gets to me, to the point that I'm just full of rage and nowhere to put it. And so these days, I think that's kind of my number one stress, and it permeates a lot of what I am. My head. The thoughts are popping in my head all the time about it. All of it, I can't do a thing about, other than politics and change happen at home. They happen with people it happens in your immediate circle, and so I try to focus on that stuff. But it's hard. So it's like a new kind of stress that I was not prepared for. And I'm now sort of in that process of like, that needs to go, dude. I freaking hate it. Like, and then once again, it comes down to any habit that's a bad one is, how do you stop worrying about how do you stop this habit of, well, first thing I'm doing this morning is I'm on the can anyway, may as well check my Twitter feed. Like, and the thing is, I don't have it's not, Twitter isn't the problem. The followers I have aren't the problem. That's a very positive place. That's a positive environment. There's lots of great feedback. There's talk about shows and fun stuff I love, and people saying, "Did you see this trailer for this rad movie? Oh yeah, dude, that's so cool and exciting." That's who I follow, and that's who I interact with, and that's great. But then I'll go just check these lists I have, like news lists and things, and I'll just be incensed. And part of my logical brain goes, it's not so much that things are worse. It's also that things are just louder and more available to your brain. It's up to me to turn that off or to shove it away or to push it to the side. It's just really hard. So I've gotten myself into like a bad loop in the last couple of years, I would say, when it comes to that stuff. And so I'm not dealing with it very well over there, if I'm totally honest. But I have gotten a lot better at dealing with stress on the ground level. Like things I used to worry about my kids about constantly, I don't worry about as much, partly because they're kind of baked and good. They're good kids and they're making good choices, and I can see that. And, everyone's got their struggles, but it's just not the same. If this was 30 years ago, I would be stressed about that grandbaby constantly because he's little and precious and breakable and all that. But I don't now because I have confidence in Taylor and Dylan, and it just feels right. And those kinds of things used to be constant in my head. Those have all gone away. Now it's this esoteric, out there, can't control it, well beyond the border type of communication that I can't do anything about. And so,
have you ever wondered if it's been replaced? Like it just found a new place?
A little bit, yeah. Like they just got up and switched seats.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. It's a weird thing because like this thing I'm being vague about that happened recently within our Frog Pants family circles is the first time in a long time I've had to deal with something that is very close and personal and is that kind of stress again. Because if I'm honest, I've been very lucky in the last, 10 years with all things family and immediate relationships. Like it's all good in the hood. There's no big skeletons in anyone's closet. There's no big hovering weirdness. Like all my friends and co-hosts and even fans for that matter, we've got a nice thing going.
Yeah.
It's just once in a while something will pop up and you're like, oh, right. That's a terrible thing. And now we have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had to do that for a while. And instead, my brain's been filled with stuff I can't control and about people who I have zero influence over. So anyway, that's a lot of babbling, and I don't know if that makes sense. But.
And in your head, with things you have zero influence over, is like a recipe for awesome. It's the worst.
Right.
And yet, I think as a general rule, anxiety just will find a home, and so it's possible that that's part of that dynamic. It doesn't need to be with the kids anymore, so it found somewhere else to go. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's take just the reality of you're younger, you're modeled certain behaviors. Both of you mentioned your dads and kind of what you watch them do, and then how that translates into how you get through college in the early years, and then we add this whole world where we can talk to strangers anywhere and fight about stuff, and it's a whole nother level of stress, of anxiety, of sort of having your feet knocked out from under you a couple times. I was just thinking as you were talking, imagine years ago you worked in an office and, your coworker came up and you got in a screaming match about a project.
Yeah.
That would sit in your brain all night. You'd have to work it through. It would be a massive deal. Mm-hmm. That is every other conversation you can have on Twitter. Can do that
consistently,
same thing. Yeah,
and you can find anyone to argue with day and night on Twitter.
Yeah, it never ends.
Yeah, if you're looking for it, you're not going to have a hard time finding it. It's
right.
everywhere.
And now think about how our systems work and how they've developed over time. So you went from 1 minute it being maybe one argument in your office a year or a lifetime, and maybe some challenges at home or here or there, and time in between, etc. I mean. We've never been great at that. We do have lots of medicines we've taken to avoid our problems in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now it's potential constant, and yet it's addictive. So it's not that, there's elements to this. There's a reason. If you said to anyone else, "Oh, there's this thing in my life that causes me all this pain," and they're like, "And you don't have to do it," and it's like, "No, it's a choice." Okay, that makes no sense. Yeah. But it's because it has the positives and it has addictive elements to it. So here's where we get to the moment. And I think for young folks, they don't have both of these stories. They have one. And that story is, well, I go to school and girls are mean and they leave me out. And then all night on Twitter, they're bullying me. Or, some version of, I'm excluded from Snapchat. No one swipes right on me. Like, you have a constant barrage of attacks on sort of your person, your value, how you feel about yourself, your place in the world. I mean, and that's, so they don't have some first version. And how do I deal with stress? Oh, I do it by working harder. Yeah. They have this second version that is, I also have to work hard, look perfect, act like an influencer. Right.
Right.
All of this at once. It's incredibly, okay, if I'm painting this bad enough. Okay.
Well, part of it is you need
starting to stress me out just talking about it.
I know, right?
Part of it is you need sometimes you just need confirmation. Like I find, I'll admit to doing this since we're all in confessional here. If I'm really upset about, say, something that happens in the political realm, something happened last night, for example, completely upsetting and horrible, and it just builds up in me. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, how is this possible? I need to talk to somebody who agrees with me. And so I'll get on Twitter or my political account and I'll bark it out, and then I'll get 2 or 3 things of support or like-minded people, and there's a, I don't know what's happening in my brain, but my brain goes, all right, see, there you go. 2 or 3 people totally agreed with you on there. And then, and I'm good until somebody pipes in and goes, you don't know what you're talking. And then I'm suddenly back into this boat of like, whatever. It's a poopy circle, dude. It sucks.
It is. It really is. And that is a very deep human need, to be seen, to be agreed with, because what that means is I'm safe, right? The feeling is, and this is where I'm getting to.
You're safe because you're surrounded by people, like-minded people, you mean?
Right. We're tribal, right? Which is, if I am odd, I'm going to be left to die outside the village, right?
Yeah.
That's our DNA. Our DNA is not, you know what, I'm going to have this thing in my hand that all day long I look at and tells me, that we aren't built for this at all. And there is what's interesting is if it hurt us directly immediately, no one would buy a phone, right? Because it would hurt immediately. But what we haven't been great at, and time has not passed, enough time has not passed, we don't know everything quite yet, that it's the subtle impact, that sort of ongoing impact, is losing grounding and starting to see everyone as your enemy, right? Because at any moment, your phone can ding and an enemy can make you feel like garbage. That's crazy if you think about that, right? Versus before, you'd have to travel to another village to find an enemy, right? And so we're just not, our cortisol, our stress system, our feedback loops, our brain, our chemistry is trying to adjust. But you know what it does is it's anxious. That's one of its responses, is to be worried about everything, because then I'm vigilant, I'm prepared, I'm protecting myself from getting hurt. And then I run out of steam, and depression is another one. Depression is another sign of like, I can't do this anymore. And so what I'm seeing is 22-year-olds who are barely able to move, and they have nothing wrong in their lives, nothing.
Yeah.
And you're going, how is this possible? Everything's ahead of you. But if you can't feel hope, or you can't, anytime you're in a good mood, it can be slashed in a second. Like there's a lot of stuff that maybe is going on. Okay, so I get it. Everyone's going to keep their phones. No one's going to say, oh, Wendy's right, let's be done. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So the answer, and I've really been digging into this lately, because I think I'm watching it actually in action and really helping people. And I know it's true for myself. So I have not done a double-blind study on this yet. But what I've found is that when people can get really good at implementing self-care in their lives, I call it self-care anchoring. I made that up. I'm not even sure. But anyway, and I'm thinking like a tent. Like you've got your 4 things that anchor the base of your tent, and then you got your other thing. But those anchors, if they're in place and are regularly happening, and then these other things, there's a way to counterbalance this. Okay, so here's something interesting. You're going to go, what? I'll get back to self-care, I promise. But there is a study that has recently come out of the Yale Child Study Center. It's Dr. Eli Lebowitz. You should check it out.
You really wanted to be Lebowski, didn't you?
I did. Oh my gosh! Did you hear that? Okay.
Oh man.
So here's what's cool. They took these kids. So we got way more kids with anxiety today. So they take 124 kids, age 7 to 14. They put them in 3 random groups, 12 weeks of treatment. The one group gets therapy for anxiety, the kid. The other group gets some kind of like support, some other random group of treatment.
Right.
And then the third one, which is the most exciting one, is that kids do not do any therapy. It's just the parents.
Okay. Just
And
parents.
what they are finding is that the recovery rate from anxiety is hugely successful when it's just the parents going.
Really?
So that is opposite of what everyone has always thought.
I would have said that's totally
kid
opposite.
with
Yeah.
The problem. But here's what we're realizing. It's how the parents are responding to kids' emotions, how they respond to the anxiety that essentially makes it clinical or not.
Right.
So what they do is they teach the parents how to respond to the kids and not make it worse, but to, in fact, enable the kid to feel confident. It's normal to feel these concerned feelings. You got this. I'm not saying all the right things they've said, but it essentially like that. And they're finding that it's making a big, big difference. And so if you think about that, okay, so how I'm applying this to this is that our feedback system. So in the case of children and parents, there's a reason they're stressed out. You just described why you're so stressed out, and it's unrelated. Like, let's say you had a 10-year-old at home. Your stress right now is related completely to strangers fighting on the internet. So when you go to talk to your kid about the world he's navigating and how freaked out he is, you're bringing freak out with you, right?
Yeah.
So parents are more stressed, which then in turn and
Stress is
guess
how
what?
transfers to the kids.
Yeah.
We all got bullied when no one knew the word bully. Right? And so here we are as adults of parents going, no way will my kid go through any of that. So parents are intervening in ways based on their own sort of stuff and their concerns, and they're valid. They're totally valid. But the way we come marching in has an impact on our kids and their ability to handle the stress. So we have a whole sort of new scenario happening because of the way things are currently playing out for adults. Then it transfers to kids, and then kids don't have any foundation without the screaming social media of they're okay or they're not okay, and it changes every minute. So you have a lot of factors happening there. Okay, so I want to just paint I just want to make this so scary. So you will do the thing I'm about to tell you to do. Is it working?
Yeah, it's working. You got us. Got us where you want us. Yep.
Yeah, I got you where I want. Okay, so I want everyone listening to get a piece of paper out, real paper with a pen.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Real paper, real pen, real paper, real
Hold
pen.
on.
And
Okay,
I want
got
you
it.
to write 1 to 10 on that paper.
1 to 10. Okay.
1 to 10.
All right.
And here's what you're going to do. It's going to take a minute, and you're not going to finish, of course. But I want you to start to write down 10 things that bring you joy. And they need to be uncomplicated joy. It cannot be Netflix. Sorry, folks. I know Netflix is the drug of choice. It's incredibly effective.
Mm-hmm.
It can change your mood in a half a second.
Yeah.
It's all good, and yet it's not. It is a drug, and I love it, but I hate it.
What if it's a thing on Netflix? What if I say Futurama reruns? What if I say that?
So you can get super specific. It has to be like 20 minutes of my favorite memes or something. But here's the problem. None of that exists. It's always a suck to do more. But what it's actually doing to your brain is not relaxing it. It may give you pleasure and fun and like escape. But I'm talking this list. I'm going to give you an example. Here's an example. And it doesn't work for everyone, but man, it works for me. A hot bath.
Okay.
Like sitting in my own filth in a hot bath.
Okay.
If I am like, I can't do anything, it's over. I'm so stressed out. That is magic.
Okay.
Like everything changes. So usually I need to listen to some music. I don't have to, but it just has to be so hot. Like a dermatologist would be concerned.
That's funny because you and your brother both like excessive heat.
Yeah.
Like heat.
Yeah. What is that about? Mom was this way, or no, Mom's the opposite. She doesn't like extreme anything. If she's too hot or too cold, she'll tell you. But I feel like the rest of the Johnson clan, we were all happy in the heat. Maybe it was Lake Powell all the time or something.
I feel like it's not necessarily outside heat that's the thing. There's something about hot water. Well, I don't know. I just like
I love it too.
shower,
Yeah.
hot water.
But like going to like Vegas in August, I can't. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that kind of heat. But so here's the thing. Think about what I just said.
Yeah.
It is totally uncomplicated. There is nothing. Okay, I get a little pruny. What are my side effects from a hot bath? A little pruny.
Well,
I need to drink some
can
water
Can I give an example of one I just use?
Yeah.
You tell me if it's right.
Yeah.
A cold pillow before I go to bed.
Totally.
I love a cold, comforty. Oh, I just want to curl up with a cold pillow.
Put a cold pillow on your list. That is uncomplicated joy.
All right.
So another one, I need a bowl of popcorn like once a week. just mine. Only me. Usually the kettle corn with a little sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I can watch a movie or not. I just need popcorn. And so for me, that's not complicated. For someone else, a food item might be a complicated thing, like they feel guilt after or something. So you got to be careful. So this is tricky, and it should not take you 2 seconds. It should be what are uncomplicated joy-giving behaviors. So just the other day, I was talking to somebody, and theirs was swimming, but not swimming in the way you think. Theirs is being underwater, holding their breath for as long as they can, and just that silence and that pressure that you feel when you're underwater, just like calms her.
That's why people like the deprivation tanks or those ones
Totally.
that you get in and they squeeze you.
The floating tanks, yeah.
So get specific. And if you are listening to this going, I don't have anything, then you're in trouble. It means because
there's no joy in your life.
Right. There's no joy in that. And here's the thing, maybe you just haven't found some of these things, and that's okay, right? But finding them is really important. So another one for me is just being in nature. Like I just need to be where it's quiet and wild. I cannot, and I can be in a park that feels that way and that can sort of do it, but I need a forest or I need to walk around a lake. I need something outside. That's really big for me.
Yeah.
Always has been since I was a kid. So I think like maybe a good question to ask yourself is, as a kid, what worked for me? What was that thing? And et cetera. Okay. So you're going to make a list, 10 things, and these need to be nearly free. Sometimes you may have to pay a little money to do one of these things, but if it's a massage, you need to do something you can do.
I can't play some craps, drive up to Central City or Blackhawk and play some.
Okay, so real quick,
that's
is
an
that
expensive one.
complicated? Is that complicated?
I guess, because I'm having to drive up there and all that. It's not something that I can do in 20 minutes. So that falls out.
It's complicated. And also, like, if you lost a lot of money playing,
it would be more stress. Yeah.
Okay. So that doesn't work. It's got to be more simple. I'm happy to have lots of joys in your life. It's great. But this needs to be these very, very basic ones. Okay.
Sure.
So, for example, I was in charge of, Allie has this little group of girls she meets with on a weekly basis, like a little Girl Scout thing. And I knew we were going to talk about this today. And so I was like, we're doing a self-care thing. And so what I did, I made all the girls wear a face mask. So they all had on these, cucumber face masks. And I gave them really good ice cream, some nice Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars, and played Pachelbel's Canon in D. And I made them lay down. And I said, just breathe. Just don't think about anything else. Whatever pops in your head is fine. Just breathe. I just wanted them to feel what it's like to stop and to not worry about what other people were thinking. And that was a little tough because a bunch of 13 to 17-year-olds like to worry about they have a face mask on. So it was a little harder for them to relax than maybe. An older lady was with us and she fell asleep.
Wow.
So it was pretty awesome. Anyway, and so we practiced one last night of just a little bit of maybe physical self-care, right? So it's deep breathing. Meditation is a great one to add to this list. Something that like painting your toenails sometimes could just be enough to feel a million times better. You guys should try it. But so it can be very simple, Shouldn't take a ton of time and should probably basically be free. But
By the way, somebody in the chat room, after you talked about it can't be complicated, was this? It made me laugh. He says, "Oh, well, let me remove prostitutes." So he's taking that off his list. So that just made me laugh.
That's
anyway,
definitely complicated.
Yeah.
And if you're confused about what's complicated or not, ask a buddy and they'll, right? And okay, so we've got these 10 things. Let's say you already have your list, but everyone do your list.
I do have my list. I did all 10.
Oh, wow.
Do you want me to read it? I don't mind sharing it. You want me to read it?
Yeah, share them. Let's hear them.
All right. Time with Van. That's just that's like being in the most peaceful place ever. That kid's amazing. And I don't mean the van that you drive. I mean the kid named Van.
Time in the van. In the back of the van.
He's like, I don't know. He soothes everything. Drawing with Carter. I like just sit and draw with her and be creative. Okay. That's not complicated, not hard. A cold pillow. I mentioned that. Nap with the dog. Get one of those in today sometime. I love napping with my dog. Steak and kimchi. A little work. It's not complicated though. Back scratch from Kim. That just puts me to sleep. Space music. That's general, but I just like spacey music. Hugs from my kids. Whoops, I dropped my list. Hold on. 9th is reading a book on the porch, preferably in the summer. Winter would be dumb. And then finally, listening to Southern Cross. That's just a song. That's a song that chills me out. If I ever just need to find my zen, I go listen to that song.
That's awesome. Okay, those are perfect examples.
You just reminded me of one I like. So perfect. Thanks, guys.
Brian, you should read yours.
I'm glad you read it.
Brian, you should read yours. I want to hear Brian's. Do we get to hear Brian's?
You can hear mine. I don't have 10 yet. I'm still working on it. But a ride on the bike, which I had this morning, was great. Yeah. Sushi of any form. I mean, all right, not complicated. There's a place nearby that I can just drive to and get a roll anytime I want.
Yeah.
Sleeping cat on my lap in the recliner.
Oh.
That's relatively easy to do now that we've 200% more cats in this house. Star Trek Next Generation, an episode of that mellows me out, calms me down. The comfort food usually leads to sleeping in the recliner. Everybody's Changing by Keane. It's a song kind of like Scott's Southern Cross. There's something very satisfying about that song. That's as far as I've got. I'm still composing the list.
That's good.
Those are great.
That's good.
And I'm glad you read them out loud because sometimes people have forgotten what these things are.
Yeah. I had to take prostitutes off my list after the guy in the chat room.
Thank you, friend in the chat room. Yeah, no, truly, like we've lost access to these, and unfortunately, there's some kids not even developing access to these, right? Because they're not in nature, they're not solving problems. So Pete, the other day, I let him play this little dumb game on my phone, and I watched a heroin addiction start in front of me. I have never seen it that fast.
Yeah.
It was horrifying.
Yeah.
And he was so sad and so miserable. And I was like, okay, we're done. So that was after a day. So we're done. And I go to the library and I find it called The Dangerous Book for Boys. It is awesome. Everyone should own it.
Dangerous Book for Boys?
The Dangerous Book for Boys. Okay. And it is all the stuff a boy should do or could do. And a girl, like everyone could use this book, a grandma, but it's just fun. It's like,
it's fun for a girl and a boy is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's fun for a girl and a boy.
It's how to make a good airplane.
It's like a slinky, Brian. It's just like
that's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah, for a girl nice work. Nice work. Yeah. Anyway, here it is. I found it. Con Lugugan. How do you say that person's name? Ilguglin. Anyway, it's a Dangerous Book for Boys. It's on Amazon for a hardcover $10.99, Kindle like $12. So
and it looks like old timey writing.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks super old. It looks like a poster from like an old fair circus came to town.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
And it's just like make a bomb, claw your, I don't know, climb a tree and I don't know, make arrows. Like it's just kind of like, and what's happened is I just hand it to the boys and I'm like, find something dangerous to do. And they're like, oh, let's do this. And it's fun. And there's just stuff to learn about. And it just feels old school, old timey.
Oh, look at this. This is so good. Look, they have a page that says essential gear, Swiss Army knife, compass, handkerchief, box of matches, a shooter, let's see, that they're talking about marbles there. Needle and thread, pencil and paper, small flashlight, magnifying glass, Band-Aids, fish hooks. And then there's a whole section on the greatest paper airplane in the world.
I know. And we made it for 3 hours. We made paper airplane.
Oh, wow.
This is
3 hours.
great. What a fun
And
book.
here's the thing. The joy in my kid. He went from detoxing after one day of a dumb video. I don't even know what it was. It's like a mining game, and it's all about money.
Was it Minecraft? It wasn't Minecraft.
No, it was called Idle Miner.
Oh, it's not even. So it's not even like these idle games are the freaking worst, man.
Like, what the crap? Anyway, okay, I just found there's one for the Daring. So I think it's similar.
The Daring what? Wait, hold on. I'm going to reset our location. The Daring what? What'd you call it?
Daring book for girls.
Oh! Is it the same author?
It's not the same author, but it's got the same font, so they're tricking us. I don't know, but it may be good. Who knows?
Okay.
But the thing about it is, I can watch in real time what like harms my kid and what brings him like joy.
Yeah.
And so if kids don't have access to building this list, like knowing they like a cold pillow and enjoying that because they're so worried about Twitter, we're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the homework that goes with this. You've got your list of 10, and this is crucial. You do one every single day, no matter what. So what you do is you have the list by your mirror in your bedroom or your, whatever. And you just check one off every single day. And for 10 days in a row, you do something that brings you joy. This is the anchoring self-care.
Okay.
So self-care also looks like paying your dang taxes and like going to the dentist, right? So self-care has other things that are kind of more stressful and complicated that are important, right?
They're important to get done, right? Like I would consider one of those self-care things like get the show prep the night before. That's a small one, but for TMS, when your head is clear, you're about to knock off for the day, like get in there, get it going so you're not scrambling in the morning to get it done. That feels like a form of self-care.
Totally. And everyone's going to be very different in these ways, but there's some basics of like eating well, getting a little exercise, sleeping, human requirements.
Right.
That's self-care we're all pretty garbage at. And then, maybe in relationships and blah, blah, blah. It's complicated out there. But if we have our anchoring basic ones in place, there is something about this. So I want everyone to try this. So for 10 days, you do one every single day. That's why it has to be doable. It can't be going up gambling every day.
Right.
And then here's what I want. I want everyone to tell me the difference. Like you make your list today, write a general, how am I feeling? How am I doing? How am I managing my stress? What's my optimism look like? And then do one of these every single day. So you are consciously picking a thing that you like and you make sure it's done. That means it's midnight. I'm exhausted. I haven't done it. Then I go put my pillow in the freezer. And I get my cold pillow for the night.
All right.
So you just do something every day for 10 days. And I promise you, then reevaluate in 10 days and see the difference.
But once again, with all of these ideas that you bring to the show or otherwise, you have to do the work of doing it, like the consistent 10-day thing. And you're not saying you have to do them one of each of these a day and then make sure you get the whole 10.
Hot bath every day. Whatever works for you. Yeah. And here's the thing. You're going to want to, I promise. That's the cool part. This isn't like, all right, now it's surgery every day. This is like, oh yeah, that thing I love. I'm supposed to do it. I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
And it's just a pricking of your conscience to remind you to do this. That's why we have to have homework, people. But then you make it a habit. Yeah. When I have people who are in serious distress, I make them do 2 a day, and they are usually harder to do because we have to get them out of the hole. It's really powerful though. So for the average person though, do your 10, do 1 each day, and then I would like a report. I know you two at least. Could you guys do it?
Oh yeah, I'm totally gonna do it. I'm totally gonna do it. Yeah, heck yeah.
Okay.
In fact, the first one I'm gonna do, I already know. Where's Rainer? I'm taking a nap with the dog today sometime.
Done.
Yeah. Just a 15-minute, just get on the couch and curl up, and she is the sweetest dog to nap with. I'm not kidding. It's the best thing. It just makes me happy to think about it. So that's happening today.
And it's happening already.
Yeah.
Like, look at that, the power of that.
I've got this stuck to my screen. We'll totally do this. And then I think I guess it'll have to be 10 days. So an episode 2
Or
episodes
we can
later.
just follow up in 7 days.
Yeah, yeah,
7
that's
days
fine.
is a good amount of time.
Yeah,
There we go.
and we'll say how we've done. I like that.
Yeah.
Homework, everybody. Homework.
Looks like I have to get sushi today for lunch. Oh, well,
You have to have joy.
I
Sorry.
have to have it on. It's on my list. I had to do it,
Hey,
Tina.
Brian, you got to have a little joy. Tell her that. Just say, got to have
Have a
some
little
joy.
joy. Tina, I need a little joy.
Yeah.
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 Tell her to do the same. She'll love it. Everyone benefits. I promise.
What if your favorite thing to do every day is to squirt joy?
Oh, better finish this sentence.
Yeah, I'll
Please
finish it.
quickly finish this sentence.
You use joy dishwashing liquid, and you squirt it at the dog. What if that brings you joy? Wait, that brings the dog joy. Never
well,
mind.
I think
You're in trouble.
I think it's probably an unwritten rule that something that brings you joy can't cause other people grief
Okay.
Yeah. Or harm an
or
animal.
pain or yes.
All right. I think that's a good thing to bring up. So I'm glad that Brian did, because
Yeah.
you don't want to do
Yeah.
nothing on this list should put
I like to
anyone
go to
else
the
in-
highway and throw rocks at cars that go under the underpass. That
Oh
brings me
man,
joy.
that chills me out. Yeah, don't do that. All right, this is a great idea. We'll definitely do this. We'll follow up. Practice some self-care. Self-care. Sorry. Do that, everybody at home, and let us know that you're in on this, because it'd be fun to do this as a big group. And then we'll report back to Wendy next week on how we did.
I want to hear.
Also, you do exist on Twitter now. I found out because you
I
replied
do,
to something.
because I love your running for 2020. That made me laugh. And so I was like, I'm going to write something. And then I was like, oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm out.
Yeah, you should get in there more.
We'll see.
You should get in there more.
I
'cause
did
they're-
like someone's comment was like, it's a wild Wendy. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's right. I'm out in the wild. I will show up once in a while. That's it.
Somebody wrote it's real. It wasn't a fake, or like it was an actual thing. They can't believe it exists. So yes, it's Therapy Thursdays. Confirmed. That's the name of the Twitter account.
Confirmed.
So Therapy Thursdays. Wendy has it on some device and may or may not type things there. So check that out. I think that's everything. Anything else you want to mention before we go?
Oh, no. Just go forth and find some joy this
All right.
week, people.
It's all joy all week, everybody. We'll see you next time. Oh, she hung up before me. Wow. All right.
Brother like sister. Wow.
Yeah, that's how we do it here. My parents would say that's not them at all, but I think we probably got it from them. I don't know. All right. Hey, that's the end of the show, everybody. That was fun. I enjoyed that. We should do more of those. They're like Bob, right in. Free hotel room. Did that? Was that less dour for you? Did you?
Way less depressing and yeah.
Your thing at the end here, this request at the end of the show, your music isn't going to be something super sad, is it? You don't have a sad one today, do you?
It's not a sad song. I don't think it's a sad. Well, it's the request from yesterday, so it's not even. I'm not even going to get a, like a quota request, because it was the person who wrote in yesterday and wanted.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so there you go. And yes, a few people have asked. Well, I fixed the music the other day. I literally put it in. I texted Brian and I fixed it immediately. I now have further safeguards in place to ensure that a song does not go out without music.
Put it on your list of things that bring you joy. I like putting a couple songs into a media file.
Yeah. And
there's something very satisfying about that.
I shared with Brian that if I had an 11th thing, here, I'll play
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
It would be this.
I'm adding this, by the way, to my YouTube playlist.
Do you guys know what this is? This is, so for those listening, if you feel like number one.
I'll be in my ready room.
I'll be in my ready room. Like, this is the ambient engine noise of the TNG Enterprise. And it's a 12-hour YouTube clip of the ambient engine noise inside the ship. And I could listen to this for 12 hours if I wanted to.
This is actually what they play on the city hall steps to keep ensigns from sleeping in the park.
Those dirty ensigns.
Those dirty ensigns.
You bastards, leaving their poo and their paper and their stuff everywhere. Anyway, I could listen to that all day. All right.
Demonetized.
Yeah, demonetized. Wait, there's a 10 forward one? What? Hold on.
Oh, is it
10
you can hear conversations from actual episodes?
Ambient.
I am not a merry man.
I'm going to play it. Let's see. 8 hours of 10 forward ambient. I don't hear anyone talking. Let me skip ahead. Oh, yeah. Okay, I can hear occasional, like a door open, somebody talking.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, that's awesome. You can hear Whoopi in the background.
Is Guinan talking about the latest thing on The View?
Yeah, no kidding.
Joy Behar, everybody.
Wait, there's a DS9? Now I'm all freaking out. Let's see what the DS9 one sounds like. Here's
Okay.
12. Oh, yeah, that's some Cardassian big metal ship sound, isn't it?
Yeah, basically just what do they need that for, right? It's just they don't have to fly anywhere. They don't have engines. They just need to sit in place.
Yeah, that's intense.
Keep the lights on in the Lido deck.
I have that arcade one that I really like.
Yeah.
But no one else likes me playing it because they think it's annoying, but I like it.
Oh, they
I've played it on chat like pre-show before, and people are like, I had to mute the channel. I can't do it. And for me, that chaos of a million arcade machines is just beautiful sound. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, great show today. Thanks, everybody, for being
was
here.
fun.
Yeah, had a really good time. Really good time. No PM tomorrow. I'll be gone.
Yes.
However, we're back Monday, normal stuff, so it's all good Monday. There will be a film sack this weekend, but not a normal film. We're doing a watch-along of a TNG episode, actually.
Speaking of TNG, yes, we watched the episode The Captain's Holiday, where Picard goes to Risa and Riker makes him buy a penis-shaped
Tiki doll.
love toy.
Yeah, love toy. Whatever the crap that thing was. And it had a weird...
The Horgon.
It had Rom, a sneak preview of not really Rom, but another Ferengi played by the Rom actor.
Grodenchik? Yeah, whatever his first name is.
Yep.
Alex Grodenchik? Is that his name?
And they had those weird lizard people that touch their heads to disappear all the time. Those were cool.
the roofers.
Yeah, the two roofers. So it's a really good one. And not the episode, but our coverage of it. So you're going to get that this weekend.
That's right. You're going to want to watch. You're going to want to have the episode. Like, basically, we tell you which episode, but go to Netflix, have that episode ready to go when you listen to our show so that you can watch it along with us and enjoy it.
Indeed. But other than that, a lot of content being pushed for next week because of me being gone. But we'll be back Monday with another TMS. If you like our show, and I know that you do, go to patreon.com/TMS and support it. Look at a level and say, hey, that one's for me. I want some tea every month from phoenixpearltea.com.
Yeah, from Gwen.
Yeah, good deal. Patreon.com/TMS has you covered. But if you're all the way on the other side and you're like, I've just got this $1 to give you once a month, literally $12 a year for how much content? Let's see. How many shows we do a month? 8, 16?
You'll easily spend that much on a Michael Bolton CD, right? Just give it to us.
Right.
Let's go to a far better place.
Yes. Hold on. If we do, I'm going to do the math. 16 episodes a month times 12. So that's, hold on. Times 12. Okay, so
we do like 20 episodes a month, Scott.
Do we? Okay, 20.
Yeah, like 4 weeks, 5 episodes a week.
So times 12. You're right. 240 episodes a year for $12?
That's silly.
What have we done to ourselves? This is stupid. So take advantage of our stupidity. Patreon.com/TMS. And thank you for those who have already supported us.
Can we flip that and have them give us $240 and we only do 12 episodes a year? Can we rearrange this situation a little bit?
I mean, it really is. I mean, mashed potatoes, you can say it feels like that, but is there a bigger advantage right now in podcasting? No.
No.
Like, take advantage of how dumb we are. So we were just dumb, and now take advantage of it. Frogpants.com/TMS is for everything else. That's going to do it. Brian, song.
Yes. Before that, I will tell you that tomorrow there will be a Coverville Guess the Connection episode, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville or coverville.com/live is another way to do it. I will say, as a little bit of a hint, it has something to do with something that we talked about in the last 90 minutes. The connection between the 6 covers that I play. So there will be a prize involved. Come win a prize. Tell me what the 6 songs have in common. Twitch.tv/Coverville. That's at 1 p.m. Friday, tomorrow, July 19th.
Nice.
Okay. Nice. I played that new Slang cover for you yesterday. Have you listened to it?
I have not listened to it yet. I want to. Oh no, I did too. The one from yesterday. I totally listened to it.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So that was the substitute request. Let's go ahead and get to the actual request from KT Data. This is a song called Slam Crunk. It's by Holiday Parade. I'm going to tell you there are a lot of songs in here. I'm not going to tell you what those songs are because it's more fun as you listen to this to recognize all the little interjections that they put into the song. So the band is Holiday Parade. It is kind of a mashup, but it's not a mashup where they take the actual songs. This is a recorded, performed mashup, I should say. Slam Crunk, Going out to KT Data. Happy birthday, KT Data. Here is Holiday Parade.
Woo, he's awesome. Local KT Data.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. A Utahan.
Holding it all down here in Salt Lake City with me. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. We'll see you on the other side. That is to say Monday. Goodbye.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
So what's up your ass?
Ooh, Charlie Sheen.
Ooh.
You jerk.
I love bread.
I love bread.
I